Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Wednesday. Well, Wednesday tomorrow, but Tuesday evening, going into your Wednesday, going into your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so on and so forth. And then we'll also talk about a lot of stuff tonight, as always. As always. And you can see right here, right on the What's on Tap screen, right here. And so this is some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about. Obviously, we'll talk about the weather for what's currently going on, the weather for tonight. Same thing with the weather for tomorrow, as well as the weather for our short-term future and for our long-term future. And then as always, these are the main things that we're going to talk about. Fairly widespread rain develops midweek ahead of the cold front, of a cold front. Also, we'll see a little brief light to wintry mix, definitely as we go through Thursday morning, and then temperatures will remain below to near average through the weekend. And so those are just some of the main things that we're going to talk about. If you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Surprise, surprise! I thought, me personally, I was like, oh yeah, we'll be at 700. We're still at 699 actually. So, if you could still one subscriber away from 700, go on and hit the share button. Share with your friends, your family members, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to like that. Also, hit the like button if you haven't already, and also hit the subscribe button. We're not quite there to 700 yet. We just need one more person to go and hit the subscribe button, and we will be there to that main goal. So just share with your friends, like I said, family members, or people that you don't even talk to that much, because it is very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. So what's going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Well, if we go on and look, we do in fact have some rainfall going on up there inside of the upstate. Rainfall right now near Long Creek, Townville, Westminster, areas like that receiving a little isolated shower right now. Maybe some drizzles in some spots, but this whole area right here is due to a system. Right now we have the low pressure right here inside of Tennessee. You have the cold front right here moving through. And then if you go on and look at it, that looks more like a warm front. But it does have like a little bit of some warm, ish to it, almost like a stationary front. Has some reds, and then it has like another blue section as well to it. And so this will kind of turn into like a warm air mass up on the top side as it pushes its way down. But as it pushes its way down, it's also going to push back up towards the north. And then we'll have the cold front right here pushing its way east as we get into tomorrow night. Now, that's a lot that I just said, and we're just supposed to be talking about the entire nation currently, but we'll get more towards the science towards that as we get into the short term. But right now, rainfall right now going on right now throughout the deep south, going on throughout the southeast. You also do have some rainfall in Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, some snowfall as well in Kentucky and West Virginia, some snowfall up here in the northeast going on in the Ohio Valley, and then also some rainfall going on over here inside the Century West and the Eastern Rockies. Everybody else, maybe some rainfall in the Pacific Northwest. Great Lakes region might be getting in on some snow. That's about it. What about for our cloud cover? Well, it looks like that we are all covered up right now with cloud cover for the most part. And there are a couple of spots that might be, more on the clear side, but mostly cloudy conditions right now throughout the state. Cloud cover for the future. We start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. We're going to push this forward. This goes all the way to around 12 a.m., all the way to 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., all the way to 8, 9, 10, 11 a.m. tomorrow, 12 o'clock in the morning. Cloud cover continues just to dominate the state. You go all the way into the afternoon, going into the evening. We go to around 7 o'clock, 8, 9, 10 p.m. Cloud cover continues over the state. Now, if we push this forward even more all the way to Thursday morning, this is 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. This goes to Thursday afternoon, right here at 1 o'clock p.m. Still, cloud cover is covering. And then finally, as we get into around like the 3, 4, 5 o'clock p.m. time frame, cloud cover starts to really clear out, even as we go into that Thursday evening here. So, I think, for the most part, that we're going to start off definitely cloudy as we go throughout all the way through Thursday, but we will start to clear up as we get into Thursday evening. Now, what about for our current temperatures? Well, right now, it seems like we have around a good 48 in Somerville, 51 in Charleston, as well as 50 in Beaufort, 49 in Georgetown, and 44 in Conway, 55 or excuse me, not 55, 51 inside of Murrells Inlet, even around a good 48 in Sumter in Orangeburg, 48 in Columbia, and 44 in Newberry, 47 in Greenwood, as well as 44 in Greenville, 43 in Spartanburg, and 41 in Gaffney, York, Rock Hill, 46 in Clemson. Now, what about for our air quality? Well, air quality map right now seems like that we are inside the moderate category for a lot of us. You can see a little bit of an area up there on the northern side that's inside of the good category, but I think most of us are inside of that moderate area in terms of our air quality index, and that is not quite on the unhealthy side for sensitive groups, but it is getting there in that 51 to 100 score area. So I think that for the most part, it's nothing really too crazy, if I was to say so myself. What about for our low temperatures for tonight? Well, we have around 39 in Spartanburg, 39 also inside of Greenville, as well as 43 in Winsboro, 45 in Columbia, and 42 in Newberry and Greenwood, 41 in Anderson, and 43 in Camden, 44 in Sumter, and 45 in Orangeburg, 43 also inside of Moncks Corner, and 43 in Myrtle Beach, 39 in Florence, and 42 in Georgetown, 48 Hilton Head Island. High temperatures for tomorrow. You have around a good 48 in Greenville and Spartanburg, as well as 47 in Rock Hill, 50 Winsboro, and 52 in Greenwood, 54 in Columbia, and 52 in Sumter, 49 in Florence, and 55 in Moncks Corner, 56 in Charleston, and 54 Georgetown, 57 in Hilton Head Island, and 52 Myrtle Beach. Rainfall as we go into tonight. Now this includes rainfall, snowfall, ice, all of that stuff. As there is a little potential. We'll talk about that in just a second. But most of this is rainfall. You have around a good tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible up there near Greenville. Quarter of an inch to a half an inch possible. Yes, over there for Greenwood, for Anderson, to Lawrence, to Newberry, to Rock Hill, over into Columbia, in Orangeburg, all, in that quarter of an inch to a half an inch. Maybe even a half an inch to an inch possible for Camden, Sumter, Florence, Dillon, Cheraw. And then a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch also possible in Moncks Corner, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch in Charleston and Hilton Head Island. Now for our ice. Now this goes over the next 3 days. So over the next 3 days, there is definitely a chance for some freezing rain to potentially try and make its presence over there instead of the northern PD areas. Now, we'll talk about timing with this as we go into the next couple of minutes, but there's a little chance. And for snow, snow, there was a little area up there inside of the upstate, and I think that that's where it's going to be. Maybe even a couple of flurries as well inside of the other parts of the upstate as well. Again, we'll talk about all of that in just a second. Now, what about for the crazy score? The crazy score for the most part is a lot lower than what we usually have been seeing. We're at an 18. That is a huge downtrend from what we've been seeing, and just overall a lot better. So, why? Well, it's very low danger tonight. This is an uneventful night tonight. Some rainfall going on, but for the most part, that's all that we have, really. No need to, drip your faucets, no need to bring plants inside, no need to really bring pets inside, as it's not going to be freezing. And then also, in terms of precipitation, like I said, there's some there, but it's relatively more on the isolated side, maybe widely scattered side for tonight. We already talked about low temperatures, winds are going to be light, cloud cover will be there, and so that's why we have a little area that kind of put us up into the mild category, and that's mainly because of that cloud cover that put us up into the mild category. So we can thank the clouds for that. Now, what about the SPC outlook? No thunderstorms are expected tonight, tomorrow, or Thursday, so we are good here in terms of thunderstorm activity. Nothing to look for here. Fire risk, nothing there. Excessive rainfall, we go through the next 5 days. Day 1, Day 2, Day 3, Day 4, and Day 5. We are all good. So let's go on and look at the models. We're going to start off here at the short-term future, and you can see the timer down there inside the bottom part of your screen. We start here at 10 o'clock p.m. You want to push this forward And you can see the rainfall going on up there inside the upstate. You go all the way to 12 o'clock in the morning, and you start to see some rainfall starting to push its way east, more into the lower upstate areas, but not the heaviest of rainfall. You're not really seeing the heaviest of rainfall here. You continue your way forward all the way to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Look at how that rainfall has now completely switched all the way from the upstate down into the southern Midlands, down into the Grand Strand areas, down into the potentially even northern low country at 3 o'clock in the morning. You go all the way through to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, going into 7 o'clock in the morning. And this is when, most people are just waking up. You have rainfall going on in the upstate still. You still have rainfall going on in the Midlands. You still have rainfall going on in the PD and the Grand Strand. But what did I just say about it earlier? It's not the heaviest of rainfall. Not the heaviest of rainfall. More on the lighter side, according to what the models are saying right now. Go all the way to 10 o'clock in the morning. You start to see maybe some moderate activity, maybe some light to moderate, but not too bad, not really too heavy, if that makes sense. You go all the way through. Here's 12 o'clock p.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. And now we start to see all of that scattered and all of that isolated activity that we just saw kind of merge into a kind of like a whole conglomeration of showers that continues to move its way kind of eastward, almost like stationary at this point. And so it continues to move its way through. It goes all the way from the southern upstate all the way down towards the coastal areas. We have rainfall going on at around 3 o'clock p.m., 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And that continues as that cold front comes in behind it. Now, the cold front is obviously the whole thing that's making this whole thing happen. And behind that cold front, there will also be some more rainfall there. Now, will it be like the system that we just saw? No, it's going to be more on the isolated side when it just started. Like tonight, for example. But it will be a little bit more throughout the state. Not just the upstate, not just the Midlands, not just, the PD areas, but we still will have that last system that was just there going into the coastal areas still, as they still are receiving that main system by 10 o'clock p.m. And I want you to notice something. Look up there in the very far upstate. You see snowfall and you see some sleet up there. Now, that's not going to be, obviously the system that we just saw just a couple of days ago, but it will be a little dusting. Up there. You go all the way through. Here's 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. This system that we have is still here, but definitely not the full system that we saw during the afternoon. And then you continue this forward all the way to around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, going all the way into 7 o'clock in the morning. We have some snowfall again, light flurries, nothing too crazy up there inside of the upstate at that time frame. And also, if we go in and push this forward as well, that pushes all the way to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. You still see isolated snow showers here and there. But again, like I said, nothing too crazy there as well. And maybe even at around 4 o'clock p.m., we may even have some snowfall, some isolated snow flurries along that border right there from South Carolina into North Carolina. So that's what's going on right now in terms of the short-term future. I do also want to go on real quick and look at the temperatures because I do want to show you what this cold front looks like. And so I'm about to go into teaching mode real quick as I go in and push this forward. You can see we have this huge cold front going through. Here goes the main cold front. You have it kind of pushing its way through. Let me make that a bit better. There it is. So that's continuing to move its way down towards the south and east. Now, if you continue to move this forward even more, you see cold air moving its way down, right? But this is the main thing that I want you to look at. You see this boundary right here. You have kind of it goes up like this, and then it takes a sharp curve over towards the right, and then kind of goes up like this. Well, this is the warm air that we see. This area right here, this is the warm air. In fact, I can even show you in red. This is the warm air right here. And then you have that cold air behind it. What does it look like? Well, if we go on and look at the National Weather Service forecast for the short term, what they show is very similar to what I just showed you. And that is if we go all the way to Wednesday, tomorrow, and you can kind of see down here, this is what it looks like for kind of like going into tonight, going to like early Wednesday. But what I want you to really show you is this. This is the 18Z right here. And so pretty much what I just showed you that cold front down here. I showed you how that sharp cutoff was right here. You have the warm air down here on the southern side. You have the cooler air on the back side as well. And so that's pretty much what I just showed you on this map right here. So just, something if you wanted to see what's causing, this whole system, just in general, what's causing this front to happen. I just decided I'll go in and show y'all. But continue your way forward, obviously that will set up for a cold Wednesday night going into a Thursday morning. But, not freezing though. We'll be freezing for a couple areas, like up there in Rock Hill, in York County, up there near Gaffney. But for the most part, we all look like that we are good for the most part, except for maybe as we go into Thursday. Thursday, here's at 7 o'clock p.m. We already have below freezing temperatures in the PD areas, especially near Florence. So we'll see what happens there. And then if we look at total snowfall, like I said, not much, maybe a tenth of an inch possible in Greenville, but that won't be enough to really do anything. Maybe even close to a half an inch, maybe possible for some areas up here in the northern part of the state. And then ice, for the most part, doesn't really agree too much with the National Weather Service. The ARRR doesn't really agree too much with it in terms of freezing rain. So, I guess that's just something to look at there. But I'm not, kind of low confidence on the ice and the freezing rain right now. Snowfall definitely is possible. So let's go and look at the long-term future. We're going to start off here at the 54-hour mark. And if we go in and push this forward, there goes that cold front that we just had, moves its way out. We get some warmer air trying to move its way through, potentially going to Friday, going into this weekend. And then, that doesn't necessarily mean, temperatures are going to be in the 70s and 80s. It just means warmer than what this time of year would usually be. We go all the way into Sunday. Going all the way into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Just looks relatively fine. Just staying dry all the way through Monday, all the way through Tuesday, all the way maybe into Wednesday. Wednesday morning going into Wednesday afternoon of next week might have to be something that we're going to have to look out for potentially. But it honestly just looks like a bunch of rainfall. Even as you go into Friday of next week, though, that may have to also be another day we're going to have to watch out for with some more rainfall. And another system maybe trying to move its way, cold front trying to move its way through Friday going into Saturday of next week. We have some more cold air trying to push its way through going into Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then warm air takes right back over as you go into mid parts of February, going like just after. And so if we go and look at the temperatures real quick, go and look at the 2-meter temperature anomalies here, pretty much on the ground. You continue to push this forward, cold temperatures, cooler than average temperatures for the most part, but then like I said, it will try to warm up a little bit into the weekend. Like you can start to see some 3 degrees above average, 1 degree, near above average. But I think it's mainly going to be normal to maybe even a little bit above normal, potentially, but not as cold, as it has been for sure. And then maybe even some more cooler air moving in Sunday. And look at this warm air that we are trying to get here going into next week, Sunday and Monday. Warming up as we get into the beginning part of next week. That will try to get through all the way to Wednesday to where we may even be 15 to 20 degrees above average as we go into next week. So that's something that a lot of people might be happy about. You go all the way through to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, you're even seeing around 25 degrees above average to the west in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana, Arkansas. And then we stay warm pretty much for all of next week. So if you, wanted some good news and you are a warm weather fan, well, good news for you. It looks like next week will be a mostly warmer than average week. You go all the way into Sunday of the 15th here. And then things start to cool right back down, but then it'll start to get warmer again. Now, what do these temperatures look like? Obviously, when I say warmer than average, like I said earlier, I'm not talking about like 70s, 80s, stuff like that. What do I mean? I pretty much just mean into like the 60s, going into maybe even the high 60s. That's potentially something. Maybe even the very low 70s is possible. But like I was saying, not high 70s, 80s, stuff like that. But, as we get into, like, what is this? February the 11th? I mean, we may see some temperatures up in the 70s. A lot of people will enjoy that, I know for sure. And so, just looks like, for the most part, warm future ahead, but there will be some cold dips here and there. I'm not saying that's going to be warm this entire time period, but mostly warm conditions will arrive. And so I believe that is all that I have to really say in terms of the weather for tonight. So what's going on right now with the audience? If you want to be part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, my Nana is here first tonight. We have a new person at number 1 for tonight. And it's my Nana. She says, "Hi Jay, hello to you. A beautiful day. And I took in some rays today." Well, thank you so much for that weather update for where you are. And I'm glad that you got some sunshine today. My Aunt Lewis says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a great day." I did. Thank you so much for asking and for saying that. Mr. Anthony says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you." My Aunt Lewis says, "Today in Georgetown, our high was around 60 degrees or so." So thank you so much for that weather update. Mr. Chris says, "Good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day today. It was very comfortable in Moncks Corner as well." Well, thank you so much for that weather update. Good evening to you. Thad says, "Good evening, Joseph and the Weather 360 family. I trust all is well with everyone. It was a very nice, sunny, yet mild day here in San Antonio." Well, thank you so much for that. My Aunt Lewis says, "Everywhere in Georgetown there was no remnants of snow." I believe I didn't see any snow today. I did see some salt that they did spread at the school today. They did put some salt down on the sidewalk, so obviously, kids wouldn't slip and stuff like that, which I was actually kind of surprised to see. I've never seen a school down here do that, in this area do that before. That was just my first time. I just found it kind of interesting. But there was salt on the ground over there near at my school and on the sidewalks and all that kind of stuff. Continue our way down. I think I went too far down. I did. Let's see. Mr. Chris says there was a small amount of snow left in shady spots. I think probably the same over here as well, but I didn't really look too much for snow today. But there probably still was some snow in some spots. Definitely possibly even still on roofs as well. That says, "Hopefully everyone is staying safe and warm. I'm sending positive thoughts to everyone." Thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, "I'm so happy that we're not going to be freezing tonight." Absolutely. Charles says, "Greetings, everyone. Warmer temperatures today." Well, glad to hear that. You definitely will be warming up as well. That says, "I actually moved the plants and bushes back out into the yard today for some much-needed sun and some fresh air." Well, I'm glad that you did that. I did that today as well. Moved my plants outside again after that pretty much a week of being inside the garage. It definitely needed that whole amount of sunshine that I got today, and some rainfall, some good rainfall tomorrow with this system that moves through. Mr. Chris says, "Hopefully I can get my shopping done before the rain starts." Well, it might start as early as tonight, so if you want to go in and do it, I recommend getting it done early, because that's when the least chance of it happening is. Trail says, "I drove to the mailbox today. 34 temperatures tonight." And then also, Mr. Chris says currently it's 48 degrees here in Moncks Corner and cloudy. Beautiful day in Georgetown. Very sunny. Sat on the porch for a while. Doesn't look too good later on this weekend. I mean, in terms of temperatures, maybe, not the best, but I mean, it will warm up. It will warm up. And, not much in terms of rainfall either. So, I mean, it's going to be relatively dry this weekend for the most part. Then continue our way down. Mr. Chris says, "Please remember to go hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you have not shared with everyone that you know, it's free and it helps the channel grow, gets the information out." He's absolutely correct. We are 1 subscriber away from that main goal of 700 subscribers. Yes, 1 subscriber. That's all we need. We're at 699. Just 1 subscriber is all we need, and we will be there to that main goal of 700. We just need 1 person. And also hit the like button. We've had 17 people tune in and only 7 likes. If you're a part of that 10, they have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. Maya Lewis says our temperatures will drop some, but not as bad as Monday. So happy that it's not freezing. It never fails. Every time I was washing my truck, it rains. Well, Like my Lewis says, yes, you are to blame. And then Mr. Chris says, did you hear about the earthquake today? I can actually go on and check that real quick. I think it's, hold on, earthquake monitor. Let me see if there was an earthquake today. No, I don't see anything here right now. Over the past day or so, I don't see anything here. I think I might have a setting. Oh, yeah, I see what it is. 7 days. Yeah, no, I don't see anything right now. I see that there was an earthquake right here inside of Somerville, right here, actually, on the. Well, that actually was today. Was that today? I don't know why in the world it's not showing up today for some reason, but it's why. Yeah, there was. There was an earthquake today in Somerville. It was around a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. That's the last one that we had over the past 7 days. So yes, we did. Thank you so much, Mr. Chris, for telling me about that. But there was, yes, a 2.3 magnitude earthquake happened at around 11 o'clock this morning, 11:25 ish or so, what it says. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. And I will also go on and, add the earthquake screen back up just in case. And so that's it really in terms of the main forecast. And actually, now that I think about it, before we go on and talk about San Antonio and Raleigh, Philadelphia, I thought I felt something today. I wasn't quite sure, and it was during that time around like 11:30 ish or so. So I don't know. Maybe that was it. Maybe that wasn't. I don't know. Maybe just like a loud car or something like that. I don't know. But I did feel something, and I was thinking about an earthquake, and then turns out it actually was. So I don't know if that was it or not. But let's go on and talk about the full locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, full locations, what are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these four areas because there are people in these four areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and talk about their forecast for them. And South Carolina is not even their main forecast location, yet they still show a lot of support. So we do appreciate them for that and repay them by going on and doing their forecast for them. So starting off, we have San Antonio first with low temperatures tonight, 48. High temperatures tomorrow, 68. Low temperatures tomorrow night, 41. Precipitation, that's not expected. You're not going to see any sort of precipitation. In fact, not only that, but you also will receive no severe weather and no excessive rainfall. So all of that is good for you as we go throughout the next 5 days. In fact, all four locations have no severe weather, no excessive rainfall. So just something to look at there. In terms of your future, it looks like that you will be warming up, especially as you go into this weekend. 75 on Friday, 77 on Saturday, and even 79 on Sunday. So you might even reach 80 degrees as you go into this weekend, into next week. So that's something to look out for. And then in terms of your precipitation, a 20% chance of showers Monday night, but that's it. What about for Raleigh? Low temperatures tonight at 35, high temperatures tomorrow at 42, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 27. There is a slight chance of rain tonight, then it kind of increases to rain likely tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, rain and snow is likely. Rain and snow is likely as you go into tomorrow night. So you will indeed see that rain and that snowfall as it is likely for you. Now, how much? For the most part, it's looking like snowfall totals less than a half an inch. So it's not going to be a lot. Not going to be a lot, but, just something to maybe just keep an eye out for. But, nothing I don't think that they're going to cancel stuff for. In terms of your future, you will be kind of dropping down like Thursday, 38, but then you'll rise back up 48 on Friday, but then you'll go back down to 43 on Saturday. And then you'll kind of just stay in the 40 range until you get to around Tuesday, 53-ish or so. So you're going to kind of be just stagnate as you just go all the way throughout the rest of this week going into next week. Now what about for Philadelphia? Low temperatures tonight at 19, high temperatures tomorrow at 30, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 13. For the most part, looks like that no severe weather, no excessive rainfall, no precipitation. For your future, you will be cooling down. In fact, you will be getting colder. You will be getting colder. If you thought 30 degrees was cold, it's going to just get colder after that. 19 is your high on Saturday. In fact, not only will it be 19 degrees, but winds will be pushing going into Friday. So that also will drop your wind chills down. And there is a chance of snow going into Friday. And then for Duncan, Oklahoma, low temperatures tonight at 33, high temperatures tomorrow at 55, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 28. Precipitation not expected at this time. Tomorrow, chance of showers tomorrow morning, but tomorrow night, no rainfall, anything like that. Looks like that you will have some gusty winds tomorrow around 22-ish miles per hour, maybe even on Thursday up to 20 miles per hour. But in terms of other, stuff for your future, you will be warming up in Duncan. I mean, 66 on Thursday, 75 on Friday, so you will be warming up as you go into the end of the week, into the weekend. And so that's all that I have to say there in terms of these 4 areas. So what's going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina, the entire U.S. As well. And so a frontal system is expected to bring wintry precipitation to the central Appalachians and portions of the mid-Atlantic into Wednesday. Meanwhile, showers and thunderstorms are expected along the Gulf Coast and the Southeast. A series of clipper systems will bring periods of snow to the northern plains and the Great Lakes over the next several days. So that's what we're looking like here as we go throughout tonight and over the next couple of days or so. There will be some dense fog as you go into Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, throughout those northern parts, or, not Alabama, Arkansas. Arkansas on the southeastern side. Also over there inside of the more central parts of California, the same parts who have been under dense fog advisories for, a long time at this point. But that's until noon PST on Thursday for them. That goes all the way for, Fresno to Modesto to Bakersfield, all of these areas over there. And then also some snow going on in Kentucky, West Virginia. We talked about that. Some frost will happen over there inside of Florida, where even it will be, you'll have lows down to 32 to 37 degrees this will show. So it's going to be cold down there in Florida. And I think that's about all. In fact, it's actually going to be colder in Florida than it will be inside of South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Low temperatures for tonight. Yeah, it's going to be colder in Florida than it will be over here inside of South Carolina. So that's something interesting to look at there. Let's go and check out the chat for the rest. It seems like Maya Lewis says, I'm happy to know that the warm weather is on the way. Absolutely. And then Mr. Chris says, wow, 80 degrees in the beginning of February. More like the middle of February, but it's possible. Possible in the middle of February. Definitely possible. But I guess you may also be talking about Duncan as well, which that's also possible, and for San Antonio as well, both near 80. And I think that's about all here. Top fans night for tonight. We had a lot of people trying to get that top spot for tonight. But for the 50th time in a row, it seems, Mr. Chris is at that number 1 spot. My Aunt Lula is at number 2. And then for the most part, let me see. We are at Thad, who is at number 4. So congratulations, at number 3 with 4 chats coming in. So let's go and give them a round of applause for being the top fan. So, thank you so much for that. If you want to be a part of the top fan, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, being a subscriber of the channel, being here early, and being active. All of that will put you on the leaderboard inside of the chat. And so I think that is all that we have for tonight. So make sure, like I said, hit the subscribe button if you have not already. We're 1 subscriber away. Hit the like button if you have not already. Right now we have around a good Let's see, 19 people that have tuned in, only 10 likes. If you're a part of that 9 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. And share. Share with your friends, family members, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to. Shoot, you can even share it to somebody at McDonald's in the drive-thru. Just share it to somebody. They can go on and get valuable weather information during this time because, good amount of rainfall tomorrow. Remember, bring that umbrella with you and that rain gear with you tomorrow. It's going to be a rainy day for everybody tomorrow. But that's all. Make sure, before you leave, if you're new, hit those 2 buttons.